All right, everybody, welcome back. We are here with Sean Reynolds of Bullion Max. And the great thing about working with such an amazing partner such as Bullion Max, they have amazing, well-rounded, really knowledgeable people on their team to help us understand a little bit more about the world of precious metals. So thanks again, Sean, for joining us.
Great to be here today. Thanks for inviting me.
Definitely. So, Sean, we've done a lot to, really tell people on our channel about Bullion Max, but maybe straight from your mouth, can you tell us a little bit about Bullion Max and also your role at the company as well?
Sure. Bullion Max has got a pretty amazing story. It's just one of those things that seemed like it needed to happen. So we're a sister company of Birch Gold, and all that means is some of the people who own Birch also own Bullion Max, but not everybody owns everything, or we would be a subsidiary. But that's a different show. Okay, don't need to get that technical about it. But if you're familiar with Birch Gold at all, you know that they have a minimum investment amount of $10,000. They also vault your product. They don't ship directly to the consumer. And also they do precious metals IRAs, which are awesome. But again, you need $10,000 to get it started. And I think somebody along the line said, what do we do with those people who don't have $10,000?
Hmm.
Let's see. Maybe if we started our own company, we're kind of referring people to ourselves. I like it. I like it. No minimum
Yeah.
orders. Come up with an amount, free shipping when you spend $199. Now, who are we going to get to do this? And I believe the first person they reached out to is Steve Emmett, who was a chief operations officer at AppMex when I was there. And then he talked to Brian Greenwood, who's now the CFO, and he was the CFO at AppMex. And a year ago, March, I got a call from the same guy who brought me into AppMex to be the manager of customer service. And he said, "Hey, want to talk to you about something. Got some guys in California want to get a precious metals company started. And just wanted to pick your brain." I said, "Do I have to move to California?" And he said, "No, you can work remotely." And I said, "Keep talking. Keep talking." So it's like we got the band back together. These are all talented guys. And also I was really pleased to be able to bring in Stacy Stewart in the marketing department as well, because she and I worked very well together, building review processes and how do we respond to BBB complaints and compliments and things of that nature. And it's kind of fun. One of the first things we did was started working on the Silver Starter collection, because we wanted to make sure that we knew our
That's some of that
customers.
silver right here.
There we go. Many of our customers are new, and they
Yep.
don't necessarily know what to buy. And this was a way for us to kind of address that. Don't worry too much about what to shop. We're going to make sure that the
Right.
price is fair. We can put an eagle in there. It's kind of like my own love for silver is what kicked it in. It's like I know people could buy bars and rounds and have that be all they ever do, but get them a coin. I want to make sure they get a chance to feel a coin. It has a particular sound. You flip it like a gangster. That makes a sound, feels good in your hand, all of that stuff. And it's been hugely successful. So thanks to you guys for spreading the word about it. It's funny. There are some people who are like, the price isn't very fair on that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's an eagle in there. Let's not
Yeah, they
forget to
don't
cost average that out.
they don't understand about, high premium coins.
Hmm.
So,
Mhm.
And that was a way for us to get somebody something they may not buy because they just look at the price tag and they go, nope, nope, nope.
all right.
But they're just being a silver fan myself. I mean, I love the artwork. I love how it feels. I mean, come on, 10-ounce silver Queen's Beasts. You can't beat the format. It's like the coolest coasters you could have in a man cave.
Yeah.
You need your friends to sign a waiver so they don't steal them on the way out.
Yeah.
Hey, no, put the Griffin back. Put the Griffin back.
I like the dragon. I started collecting
Yes.
the Queen's Beast series when they came out back in the day.
Yeah, you get that 10
Yeah.
ounce format, and I saw him because our rep brought him in, and we got a chance to see him before we had him for sale at AppMax when I worked there. And I went, is there anything cooler than silver? I mean, really, is there anything cooler? And so that whole feeling that I have is kind of where we wanted to kick off the starter set. We're starting to look at some additional ones, maybe something with a 5 ounce product in it as well, and of course some other cool coins. But we're still just trying to figure out what that looks like. But what a fun adventure that is,
Yeah.
So anyway, that whole thing of trying to help people who are new at this is what we really like. And for me, I worked for Mattel, American Girl, for a number of years. Big contact centers, hundreds of employees, things of that nature. And my favorite part about it was training and getting people to teach them to provide great service. Okay, well, in this situation, I'm doing a different type of educating. Because ultimately, whatever people buy is for them. It's their investment. They should. What my goal is to make them comfortable with the choices they make because they know why they
Yeah.
bought what they bought. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. So if you're looking at just good affordable ounces of silver, and that's your play, just make sure you continue to place the orders. Just keep buying.
Hmm.
So it's been more fun this time with Bullion Max than it was when I was at AppMax.
Yeah.
And kind of going off that point, I've talked to actually both of us, Silver Slayer and I, maybe even more so. Yeah, definitely Silver Slayer more than I. We've talked to different, local coin shops
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of understand the process of how, what it means to like run one of those businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, we're the consumers, and obviously we're just trying to, a preserve our wealth, but then also b
Mm-hmm.
just enjoy and have fun along the way with collecting all these different types of coins
Absolutely.
and bars. But I understand there's a different process in doing it online.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between, well, first, I guess, how does an online coin shop work, and what's the difference between that and the model of a local coin shop, brick and mortar?
Sure. One of the things that we think is really important having a website as your sole presence is making sure we've got really high quality imagery that reflects the quality of the product that we have. Now, this is one of the reasons that I like kind of the limited scope of product that we have right now. You get 7 of a collectible item. You're still only going to take a picture of one of them, but we would always get the request at AppMax. Can I get a picture of the one I'm going to get?
Hmm.
I know that'd be helpful and that would be cool and all that, but you have no idea what it's actually going to take to do that. And then
Yeah.
if after that they go, okay, no thanks, I just wanted to see it.
Hmm.
Okay, come on, man. I did you solid, and that's how you do me. Come on now, you're gonna
Yeah,
make me say
yeah.
no to everybody coming forward. And I hate to say no. I love to say yes.
Mhm.
So I think it starts there. Good descriptions, because what is presented there is really how you're going to get an understanding of what's there unless you call. So we always want to have good detail about there. What's the purity? What's the weight? Is this limited mintage? If so, what is the mintage? Koalas are a good example of a pretty standard bullion coin that's got a little bit more information because there's a little bit more going on. So that would hopefully help people make those decisions between, do I choose this, do I choose this? And and that's kind of where the level of detail comes in. Now, George, our technical writer, is also very funny. So you don't tend to find a lot of copy that's as detailed, but also just a tad snarky. And we hope people enjoy that too, because
Yeah.
if you take it too seriously, it's just no fun.
Right.
So we try to recognize that we don't want to be as stiff as everybody else, but we're not the jokesters, because hey, precious metals, man, trust is everything. And a few funny jokes, you could easily lose somebody's trust. So we try to be mindful of that. Now, having a store, and going in, that's a very hands-on type of experience. You're going to get to see and feel, well, watch the touching, right? No touchy. Of the items you're probably going to take home. Now, that's a heck of a lot more fun when you're looking at graded coins and things of that nature, because you're going to get to see the difference between a 68, a 69, and a 70 right there. And then
Right.
you can decide for yourself whether or not the price difference is worthwhile. And that is the one you're going to take home. So there are definitely advantages to doing that. And I do also encourage our Bullion Max customers to go visit local coin shops, because they're probably going to be part of your exit strategy. You know, when the day comes and you're trading or you're bartering or you're just selling outright, whatever you're doing, don't make the first conversation you have with those guys, I got some silver, you want to buy it? Okay.
Right.
Build that relationship. And so the first time you're seeing them, you don't need a favor from them. I think it puts yourself in a much better light because they've seen you. They've seen you before when you come in the store and you ask them questions about things that are not related to selling to them, or it might be, you know, but I think you do yourself a huge favor by just kind of being part of the scene and maybe make a purchase or two, you know, see how they compare price wise to what we have, or maybe they have things we don't have. We're not trying to be all things to all people right now. We're trying to be easy to shop right now. We're you know, we have a fraction of what we will have right now, but it is exciting to go, oh, we got this in now, that's cool. Oh, we got this in now, that's cool. So it's fun to grow up with this business. But that's kind of the difference between the you know, having an online presence and it really needs to speak everything to you, versus going to the store and really getting a different experience, because you're able to put your hands on it and look directly at what you're looking to buy.
Definitely. And, you know, you mentioned going to local coin shops to, you know, potentially develop a relationship, you know, for that eventuality of, you know, if you need to sell, there's somebody that you can actually have,
Yep.
you know, who can make that market for you, so to speak. But, you know, for yourself, do you have a particular silver stacking strategy, or even gold or other metals that you
Yeah,
invest in as well?
I do. And I sometimes buy rounds, I sometimes buy coins. And the reason I do that is my liquidation options around here, I have a guy who is an ounce is an ounce. I don't care what it is.
Right.
An ounce. Okay. I will never take him my coins.
Right. Most local coin shops, by the way.
Yeah. So then I have another guy who's a coin snob. So he will pay me a premium for my coins, but I don't dare take him my bars, because he'll pay me well under melt just because he didn't want them. Okay. So it's nice to know those are my options. Then I have another guy who just gets overwhelmed too quickly. You know, if you get him more than 20 ounces, he starts going, oh, I couldn't possibly take on all this inventory. Sure.
Wow.
It's your way of saying, you know, I want to pay you less. I'll pay you more for the first 20 ounces, but then I'm going to pay you less. It's the kind of the game he plays. But here's what I do, and this is also kind of something I do to help people who are stacking. Just collect ounces. You know, you want to get some good cost averaging in there, but you don't want to have just rounds. And sometimes coins aren't as affordable. So what I do is I show people the Buffalo rounds from Silvertown Mint first. And here's your baseline. This is probably the least expensive ounce in the store of silver. There we go, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do from there when I'm buying is I check and see if there's a coin within $2.50 per unit above that. If there is, I will always buy the coin. If there isn't, I'll take a look beyond 250 and say, all right, so what does it take to get a coin today? And if I don't like those options, then I will always buy the round. So that keeps me from emotionally overpaying
Yes.
for something. And that cost averaging is, you know, when you're stacking, ounces are important. Okay, you're still going to come across that thing you absolutely have to have, and God bless you for that, because that's going to keep it fun.
Right.
You know, to get something
Yeah.
you want, not something you have to have. If you get into that have to have mode, this can really stress you out. And the first thing I would recommend you do is buy something that's just a little outside of what you normally do to have some fun. Get something
Right.
cool, you know. But that's kind of my strategy. And then I, I do something pretty similar for gold as well. So right now, let's say a bar at Bullion Max is $81 over spot. Okay, so you might set a threshold above that. What will another $5 get me? Can I get a coin? What about 10? What about 15? Usually within $20 you can get a Krugerrand. You might be able to get a maple, kangaroo, possibly maybe a Britannia. So there may be even multiple choices within that $20 more than a bar. And I would always take the coin instead of the bar if it's in that budget.
Yeah.
I don't want to overspend. I like to really look at cost averaging. So, but
Yeah.
that's my personal strategy.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like how I approach it on my channel. I kind of equate it to crafting and making a good meal. So you have your meat and
Mhm.
potatoes, and that could be your rounds and so on and so forth. But every now and then you got to throw in a little bit of salt or some spices.
Mhm.
But you don't want to overpower too much with the salt and spices of all those really great things that you might want to experiment with. But
Mhm.
you just want to focus on building up those ounces, like you said. So just the core meat and potatoes, then throw some spices on there whenever you
Yeah,
like. Uh,
good example of that. I have the Year of the Dog from the Perth Mint. I've got a few
Same.
of those graded. And so that would be a splurge for me. My biggest splurge, I bought the reverse proof Libertads from AppMax like in 2017 when I was working there.
Same.
My big splurge. Gorgeous coins, holy cow. Still, I probably overpaid for it by today's standards, but um, love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I still need to get my
Normal,
hands on some
shiny,
Libertas.
non-shiny, right? Side by
Lunar,
side. Show me things.
Lunar Series 2 is my favorite series.
Oh
I'm
yes.
trying to collect every year, so
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
and that is what I like about that is there are enough of them to keep you involved, but it's not like,
It's
okay,
hard to find though.
America the Beautiful, 53? Whew. My short attention span just I can't handle that. It's like Queen's Beast is great, 10. Great. Better yet, let's do a series of 6.
Uh,
And let's get it
Yeah,
done in 2 years. Come on, who's with me?
yeah, yeah.
The American short attention span is probably the hardest thing to complete any given series is we get bored too quickly. Even if they get progressively better, it's too many.
Yeah,
Yeah, just can't do it. But no, Lunar Series 2, man, oh man, if people haven't seen that, check those out. Go
man.
Google those. They're
Gave
fantastic.
I gave one of those away in my giveaway just to let someone experience how cool that coin is. And the Rwanda series too. The
Sure.
Rwanda series, amazing. Do you actually remember probably the coolest looking coin I've ever seen is the reverse proof maple leaves?
Yes.
Those are the coolest looking coin. Like, I don't know what it is about. I think probably just that frosting, but then the inside's almost like a proof. Like, it looks
Mhm.
so cool. So
Yep. Yeah, those are amazing. I mean, when you look at reverse proof sets, I'm always going to look. Even if
yeah,
even if I've seen it before, I'm going to have another look because there's nothing else like it. And again,
yeah,
if you're
nothing.
so used to stacking, even if you're just window shopping, look at the pretty stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you may or may not someday make a purchase, but I think the point is once you appreciate the medium, you really like what you've got even more. And you're glad that you bought what you bought, even if it's the standard stuff. I mean, people get into it for a reason. And I think it really kind of feeds your soul in addition to providing the protection that it does and perhaps market increase. I mean, look what's happened since COVID. It didn't give all that back. We're still hanging around $26. We've had guests on our podcast talking about $50 silver in 6 months. If that happens, wow. I mean, I know you guys have some ounces too. Okay, that would put a
right.
smile on your face, I think.
Oh, Oh yeah.
It might not be
And
spot price, but the physical price is still $50, with premium. So
oh yeah,
Yeah.
premiums have been going crazy.
Yeah, so our guests have said $50 within 6 months, and then another year to 18 months beyond that, it'll hit 100. But sadly, it'll hit 100 because the dollar's not worth what it once was.
yeah.
So don't be impressed by all of that. It's not going to quadruple. Oh my God! And it's no, it'll be cool, but not that cool. If it
Yeah.
happens, right? Who's got a crystal ball? So
100%. And you actually just led into my next question, which was, with everything happening in 2022, we really start to see CPI start getting up there by the end of 2021. Really, I mean, in the middle of the year of 2021, then it really started going up by the end. And then obviously we have this war going on. With all those things happening in the backdrop, have you guys been seeing a lot of people buying now as opposed to maybe just selling? Are you seeing a lot of people purchasing?
There's very little selling going on right now. I think
Yeah.
everybody's protecting their assets the same way. I talked with a gentleman who had a couple of monster boxes of 2015 Eagles to sell, and he got them at a really nice spot, but also his premiums were low. I mean, when I was working at AppMex, I think it was 359 over spot if you buy a quantity of 100. Okay, what are they now? Over 15, maybe. I know our competitors sell them for more than we do, but seems like we may have some shenanigans going on there. But $18 over spot for an Eagle, come on, man. But still, but even with the market value being 2 times what it was, and being able to pay him a premium for those that's higher than what he would have paid for them, it's still like, if you don't need to sell it, hang on, man, because it doesn't seem like we're going to stay at $20 for very.
Sell yourself short.
Yeah, yeah, and then I'll be the bad guy because I talked you out of it.
Right.
That's more responsibility than I can handle, fellas. And I really don't want to be that guy. We'll get some Eagles from somewhere else. No worries.
For sure. Yeah, and I know Silver Slayer, you had some follow up on that too.
Oh, yeah. Well, the US Mint sold 5 million ounces the first month of January this year. Like that right there speaks for itself, right? I mean, 2020, the US Mint literally ran out of Eagles, had to make the emergency San Francisco 1 million mintage, then Wall Street Silver last year, and then this year we have US Mint selling that many, already in legal trouble with trying to keep up with the silver blanks. Do you think this pattern is going to cause more problems heading forth with the increasing demand, but the almost non-existent supply production?
Yeah, I think we're just going to continue to see higher premiums.
Yeah.
It's going to be supply and demand, and as much as from a dealer, that probably sounds like BS. It's the world we live in, And so as I read comments where people kind of poke at us, so and so sells for so much less than you do. It's like we're probably within 15 cents of each other, so let's not be crazy about sells for a lot less than you. We're always going to try to be among the low price folks. If we don't have the lowest price, we're going to be down there. And if we're not down there, chances are somebody else moved their price because they're incented for some reason to blow that inventory out. But we had some other fun situations where we had 2022 Britannias that we had. There we go, beautiful. Warrior Princess. Proof-like finish. Come on, again, shiny coin, but it's standard
Security.
bullion.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And by the way, Stacy Stewart, she is amazing. She actually worked with me back when she worked at AppMex back in 2017. And nowadays, every time you guys get a new coin, she sends them to us, me and TJ, for the podcast. So it's cool to be able to show off every new coin you guys get. And I'm actually working with her on a 15-ounce deluxe bundle where I get to handpick all 15 ounces. And I know you guys are getting a new 10-ounce, but because I get to handpick them. So, I want to balance it out, but I know you guys are getting a new 10-ounce bar. And she was talking about maybe incorporating that. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want people to understand, like, when you're buying silver, like, you can't, like you said, you can't just look at spot price and times that by 5.
Mm-hmm.
These coins have premiums, but it's also going to pay off. A sunshine mint round in 5 years will still be pegged to spot price, whereas an eagle or a panda will double, quadruple because they
Mm-hmm.
grow collectible value. So there is benefits to buying both to add ounces with the generics, but also branch off to some semi-numies, which will incorporate. So I want people to understand that when they're buying these kits, it's not just, oh, it's just 5 ounces of silver. But going into that,
Mm-hmm.
also I wanted to mention local coin shops. Selling to them, I feel, is a bad idea. Just because he'll offer me for 23 or whatever spot price is, maybe $2-3 over spot for an eagle, but I could sell that same coin on eBay for $45.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, do you guys buy back silver? And if you do,
Oh yeah.
do you incorporate premiums?
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
would say, like, if we were selling eagle, or if we were buying back eagles, we are probably going to buy them back at $8 over spot.
Yeah, because that's an interesting situation since we're not used to that. So
Correct, correct.
yeah,
Again, I remember being at AppMax and buying there, and it would be, maybe if you got an eagle, we'll give you $1.50 over spot.
yeah.
You got a maple, we'll give you 50 cents, 75 cents. Depends on what our inventory was at the time.
That's so, and like people that haven't been stacking more than 2-3 years, they don't understand this. I'm like telling them, like, this is
Mhm.
not normal. This
It's
is
not.
not normal.
It's not, and I think as much as the newer folks to stacking have those kind of, you haven't seen this before, so you can't totally appreciate it. I think the older dogs who've been doing it for a while, or at least since 2015 when I started in the game, Eagles aren't 359 over
Yeah.
spot anymore. So like when you see 13 over spot, don't get upset and say that's high. That's actually a good price for an Eagle
Mm.
right now. Right now being the modifier that I think it's
Eh,
important to keep in there. But since they'll be 20 over before too long. Mark my
Yeah.
words, because the supply is far shorter than the demand, and as long as people want to keep buying Eagles, they're just going to have to pay the diff if it's what you want. But this is where I like to help people and say, well, do you feel you have to have that? Do you
Yeah.
need, because in that situation, because the price difference is so significant between that and the Warrior Princess you just showed, okay, you get a lot more ounces of silver if you just change what you buy. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that those coins aren't attractive or they're worth less. Eagles will always command a slightly higher premium, but I don't know if you're going to get $20 back out of it later. I don't know. But knowing that if I can save $10 off of that premium and spot's 25, all right, well, I'm more than a third of the way to another coin. So it's easy not to buy Eagles. But
Yeah.
but if you must, pucker up, Buttercup. That's just what they cost.
Yeah.
But you have to believe it's not the dealers who are screwing you, you're
Right.
price gouging,
Right.
you're doing all this. No, this is good old American supply and
Yeah.
demand.
Low supply, high demand shoots the price up. Investing 101. Like,
Yep.
and the premiums all started when the US Mint ran out of Eagles in 2020.
Mhm.
That's why there's premium. You don't see premiums on gold because gold isn't scarce. Like, and I wanted to ask you too,
Mhm.
do you, since, because we're talking about 5G towers, electric vehicles, so like all massive amounts of silver going to be needed, not only for the
Solar
investing
panels.
sector, the
Mhm.
industrial sector as well.
Mhm.
Do you think there will be a time when there just won't be enough silver? And
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, the question is really, can we keep up with the mining to meet the manufacturing needs? Because
yes,
it's not that there's a shortage of silver, it's just not out of the ground.
yeah,
But you're right, the demands are going to be like nothing we've seen before. Yeah, electronic vehicles. Okay, so electronics already have a lot of silver in them. Now we're going to make electric cars. Okay, and we're going to make a lot of them. And so that's a lot of silver. All right, and then gold and silver, let's face it, they've been part of commerce since Greco-Roman times. There's always going to be a financial demand on silver. But I think if it weren't price manipulated, this is another conversation that we've had on some of our podcasts with our guests.
Spoofing.
Yeah,
JP Morgan.
If it were more of a free market metal, kind of like palladium. Does anybody ride that ride? It was $675 when I started.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I got in early.
Yeah, $3,300 a couple weeks ago, and then it lost $1,000. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's not. But the thought is, if it were truly a free market metal, silver would trade at closer to $250 or $400 an ounce. Yeah. So I think, well, and here's something that I think speaks to the cost of silver being controlled. Remember when wood and building materials went through the roof for like a sheet of plywood went from like $18 to $50? Okay. We didn't see that with silver though, but it wasn't used any less.
Right.
So truly, if you're wondering whether or not somebody's messing with its value.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Look at lumber. And it's starting to recover a little bit price-wise, but the other thing about the American way is if we've gotten people to pay this much for it, and that was a ridiculous amount, I don't think we're going to come down too much further. With record profits every year by any means necessary, unfortunately, is the good old American way these days.
I know the Royal Mint's starting to scrap silver out of cell phones and laptops to try to come up. I think recycling, since most silver's thrown away, gold is remelted, rescrapped since it's used for mainly jewelry and coins. Silver is the industrial sector. So I do think recycling is going to come in more. They're also trying to space mine. There's an asteroid coming towards Earth called Psyche 16 by like the year 2026. NASA sent out a rover this year. It has they said $500 quintillion worth of precious metals, like something ridiculous. I don't think we're going to be able to mine that asteroid, but I do think, I do think whether it's mining innovation, whether it's silver confiscation, just like gold confiscation several times throughout history, the executive order 61 or whatever from FDR. I do think that we're going to have to find another way to keep up with the demand. Like I was reading an article from someone, and he said, if you think that we're going to be able to do the green revolution and that's going to be possible with the amount of silver we have, he said, you're silly. That's for the dreamers. We don't have enough silver to make the entire world go green. We just don't. So I think that's going to be an interesting situation. So.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just the scarcity of raw materials. You can want to do it all you like. You can change the hearts and minds and get more people on board. But if you can't do it because you don't have the materials, well, how far do you take it before you even start then? Should you even start would be a good question, until we figure out another way, a better way that doesn't involve precious metals to that extent anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's been, sorry, TJ, you can go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, we just have a few more minutes for the interview, but I just wanted to, thank you, Sean, for coming on and representing Bullion Max and working with us. I mean, it's been really great. I mean, we started this podcast a couple of months ago, and honestly, it's so cool to see all of our subscribers really supporting you guys also through the Silver Starter Kit. So really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us.
Absolutely. And just since you wouldn't have other cause to know, since I'm pretty much the guy who speaks with customers who call us, they love you guys. They find you very informative. But just more often than not, they've just got really nice things to say. I wish they had something more specific for me so I could share what you're doing that they really like, so you can do more of that, No, they just find you informative and so friendly and fun to watch. And I think it's cool to be a part of this podcast that so many people like and now have been introduced to Bullion Max through you guys.
Yeah, you had to be our first guest. Like Bullion Max, even the shipping. I got the European Mint sent me some silver like probably a month ago. It was packaged in a loose envelope and the coins were just rattling around in there.
Oh,
Bullion Max sends me a box inside of an envelope with each coin rubber banded in things of two. Like that's the best shipping I've ever had. And I tell people, shipping speaks for itself. That's how you know how a company cares, right? So I just want to thank you all, especially Stacy Stewart, for reaching out as well. And thank you for being on here. I thought this has been a great interview. So thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, we jokingly say it's Fort Knox in a box. So, if we've got it packed up so tightly it can't move in shipping, we know it's going to arrive safely. And the other thing that's fun about being a new company is almost all of our inventory is new as well. So we don't have the quality concerns about here's a random from 5 years ago. This is a call. It should never have been put in with these. We're just not seeing that. So, people can purchase very confidently from us, knowing if it says BU, chances are it's never seen the light of day. Or we're taking it out of the mint tube to get 5 of these for them and putting them in flips and getting them shipped out. So as the manager of customer service, I've enjoyed that. I don't mind handling problems if they come up. I mean, that's really why I'm here is how we handle them and things we do and try to make that as smooth as possible.
All right, guys, we just finished up the interview with Sean at Bullion Max. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Silver Slayer, what are some of your first thoughts from this interview?
I'm just glad that he really acknowledged the silver shortage or the scarcity as much as he did. I mean, a lot of people say that it's a myth and all that, but he really, even when I brought up the green revolution, he was full on board. Like, this is possibly won't happen. And I'm just really glad that he was on the same page as me, because me covering a lot of this, I get sometimes people saying, well, so-and-so said that this is all a myth. And if you look at it, and I'm just glad that he also, was on board. So, and just how much he knew and going back and just how it was very easy to talk to him. He just knew so much, so that was cool.